Oh man. Oh, oh man, I have so much to talk about, man. Oh man. Oh man, I have so much to talk about, man. I actually got the fight on right now. Oh, shoulder bump, fifth round, 28 seconds on the clock. Oh, I said, I figure I'll turn on the fight while I'm talking to you guys about this fight. Oh man, we got so much to talk about, man. Like I know I did a quick recap, and I couldn't really get into my bag. This is the one that I really wish I went live for. I'm sorry for not going live last night, y'all. I was really tired though. I really was. You know, I was tired, and I didn't really think it was going to be that serious. And when it comes to the breakdowns, when it comes to the predictions, I try not to really go off my feelings. I thought last night Lamont Roach had so much confidence for whatever reason. Like he had so much confidence going into this fight, and it was throwing me off. But I didn't want to make a breakdown talking about a feeling that I had and all that stuff because I don't like to do that. You know what I mean? I like to just use logic and be objective and compare the performances between the two. You know what I mean? Who Tank fought, who Lamont fought, look at the styles and everything like that. Like, I'm in the sixth round. Why is Tank looking at the ref every time this guy hits him? It's just, oh man, I'm gonna get to that fight. I'm gonna get to that fight last. I'm gonna let people join up. I'm gonna talk about the couple fights before the main event. But I have this fight on, and I'm gonna be looking at it as I talk to you guys because I didn't watch the full fight again. I didn't feel like I need to because I know what I saw, and y'all confirmed what I saw. It is what it is. It is what it is. Shout out to everyone that's here, man. Who's here? Joseph Rivera. What's up, man? Um, Joe was good with you. Joseph, there's a lot of Joes in the first three comments from Joe's. Joseph Rivera, Joe said it's true, and Joseph Ellis. Pepino, what's up? Arthur, what's good? Angel G. Adamola, City of Trees, was good with you? Jay, Will, what's happening? Romeo, Deuce, what's good? Deuce, what's good, brother? Rice Turner's in the building. Golden Mike, Joe, no, I say you already. Nick, what's good? Focus, what's good? What's good, everybody? I'm sorry I wasn't here last night. That was the one I was supposed to be here for because that was a good card. Like I was watching the J Rock fight or with Tayez, and it was a cool fight. Tayez did what he had to do. J Rock went the distance with him too. But we gotta talk about those other two fights though. We gotta talk a little bit before we get to the main event. I'm not gonna hold y'all because I know what y'all here for. I know y'all want me to talk about Tank, and I'm gonna talk about him, and I'm gonna let you guys join up. At the end of this, I'm gonna say what I want to say, and then I'm gonna let you guys join up and join the chat because I want to hear what people are saying. I read all day. I listened to some content creators, and a lot of people are bringing some good points, but a lot of people are not bringing one point. And I'm going to mention that in the end of this video. I've heard so many people. No, I didn't. I heard a few good content creators that I like. And I read a bunch of tweets. But I want to hear what you guys got to say. You guys that's in the chat. And I want you guys to join on live. If you want, I'm going to throw the link up a little later. Just let me get my shit off a little bit. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Are we good? Does it sound good? We gotta talk, man. Now, let's start off with the first fight. Briefly, Alberto Puello against Sandor Martin. A lot of people thought Sandor Martin won the fight. A lot of people thought Sandor Martin won the fight with Teofimo Lopez as well. as I'm watching the fight, and I did watch the fight, I felt like I I, I think he's edging. I think he's doing a little better, but these rounds are so close that I'm not sure. You know, I'm gonna tell you, I didn't do a breakdown, but what I would have told you guys, and I'm expecting Puello to be more successful because of his height and his length and his jab. I've seen Sandor Martin fight a few times, more than a few times now. And I feel like he's a better counter puncher than an initiator, right? So I felt like he would have to initiate the fight because Puello got the longer reach and he has that jab you got to get past. And he's good at counter punching. So I felt like Puello's going to have this fight in the bag. The only person I put money on last night, swear to God, is Puello to win on points. But as I'm watching the fight, I look at Puello and I'm like, oh, damn. Martin's kind of beating him on the inside, right? He's landing the better power punches, in my opinion. He's going to the body. He's being the aggressor. And I'm like, okay, I think he could be winning this fight, but there's no consistency there, because Puello, his jab wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. But he's still landing some good counters. I think too much wide punches, not enough straight shots for Puello. You know what I mean? Not enough wide punches. Not enough straight shots, just wide punches trying to hook as he, Martin would rush in. And he wasn't really clean with those punches. But at the same time, Martin was not consistent. Was not consistent enough for me. And I didn't feel like he finished the fight strong. So my scorecard at the end of it was like, this could be a draw, man. I don't really feel like Martin did enough to win. I think you can make an argument, but there was a lot of swing rounds in there for me. I kind of felt like he was going to win the decision, and that's why I picked him on points to win. That was my only bet. I was the only one. That was the only bet I felt confident that would happen. The outcome would happen because I felt like Puello would do enough, but not enough to just pull it off. And I was right. And even if I think like Puello might have squeezed the win, I believe in the champion. You beating the champion. I believe in that. Okay, I know it's an old school way of thinking. And I know when it comes to judges, the fights are supposed to be, they're scored by rounds. And I get that. But I look at it like, like if Martin was the champ that night and he was defending his title against Puello, then Martin should have walked away with the title. And that's how I felt about the fight with Puello last night. I felt like Puello didn't clearly win, but I didn't think Martin really beat him neither, especially in those championship rounds. I was expecting Martin to really step it up those last few rounds and really get it going. You know what I mean? And I didn't see that. So I was cool. I wasn't cool with it, but I thought it was a draw, but I wasn't mad at the decision. I was shocked, and that has nothing to do with my bet. My bet was Puello on points. I just think Martin needs to do a little bit more. Like even with the Teofimo, it's like I thought he was robbed of a knockdown, and that the second knockdown should have definitely been scored a knockdown. I felt like Martin might have edged the fight, but I wasn't fully convinced that he won that fight. You feel me? So that's how I feel about that fight right there. I wasn't mad at that. All right. Next fight, Jose Valenzuela against Gary Antoine Russell. This is a fight that I tried my best to put some money down, and I just wasn't sure on neither one of them. I haven't been completely sold on neither one of them. And I'm gonna tell you why. Rayo Valenzuela came off of a knockout of the year contested knockout against Chris Colbert. Chris Colbert has not looked good in a long time. He didn't look good in the first Valenzuela fight. He got knocked out crazy in the second Valenzuela fight. And then he lost another fight after that. When Rayo beat Pitbull, and he beat him, but you know, I don't rate Pitbull, especially at 40. I don't rate none of these guys at 40 except Gary Antoine Russell. What did I tell you guys in past videos? I was really clear, and I said this yesterday on Twitter. These guys at the WBA is passing the belt around, and they not 140 pounders. I'm talking about Rolly and that robbery win. I'm talking about Pitbull knocking out Rolly, and I'm talking about Rayo beating Pitbull on points at 140. You beating Pitbull at points at 140 don't mean shit. It was a great performance. You clearly have become a better boxer, but you're fighting a guy that walks straight in, has no jab, has no height, has no length, has no, like, he's not fading, he's not doing nothing technically. Like, he's just coming in and he's throwing his bombs. And when you expecting the same thing every single fight, because the guy do the same thing every single fight, it's easy prepared for that. Whereas Gary Russell, on the other hand, shout out to you. What up, Cono Loco? What's up, E-Class? Gary Russell, on the other hand, Gary Russell switched it up. He said, I'm going to beat you with the jab. I'm going to double and triple the jab quickly. So you think I'm just going to rush in like I did against Puello and like I did against Barthélemy and just walk in the shots? No, I'm going to switch it up on you. I'm going to keep pumping this jab so you can't tell what I'm going to throw next. He switched it up on him. And Valenzuela had no answer for it. He lost every round. He arguably lost every round in that fight. There was no adjustments made, nothing. Rayo expected Gary Antoine Russell to just charge in, right, and throw bombs. And he predicted that he would counter like he did against Pitbull, and it didn't go down that way. And guess what? When it wasn't working, round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, Rayo did nothing to adjust to that. He did nothing. Everybody hit the thumbs up, man. Let's get to 100 likes real quick. Everybody stop what they're doing. Let's get these thumbs up because we're going to have fun tonight. I have a lot to say about Tank and Roach, and I also got a lot. I want you guys to join the chat. You know, it's Sunday night. I wanted to wait until tomorrow morning, but I figure a lot of y'all would be at work. You know, I didn't want to hit y'all up while you're at work because I understand a lot of y'all be just checking your phones. I figure a lot of you guys are at home right now. So I wanted to jump on live and get you guys to join up because you know, I really want to hear what you guys got to say as well. But when it came to Rayo has never been tested at 140. And when I looked at Puello, because I was doing a film studies at the same time, because Puello's fighting Sandor Martin on the same card. So I had to watch the Puello. I had to do the Puello film study. Or they showing when Tank does the knee right there. You can't do that. You cannot take time out. Instead of taking a knee, he was better off just going, yo, ref, time out. He might as well have did that. I'm not saying Roach punch is the reason that dropped him. But as a fighter, you know, when you take a knee, you need time. You don't want to fight. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. We got to keep it real. He took a knee. But I don't want to focus solely on the knee tonight. We gonna talk about the knee. I want to focus on a lot of other things that a lot of people are not saying about this fight with Roach and Tank. Give me a few minutes. We'll talk about that. All right. But I really want these likes up right now because I'm not even at 50 likes and we over 100 people in here. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. You know, like what's going on with y'all tonight? Like I know y'all mad I wasn't live last night, but y'all gotta help me out right now. So what I was saying, so when it comes to Ryo went up to 140 and fought a real 140 pounder. You don't beat Pitbull on points in a competitive fight and think that you could go to 140 and beat guys like Gary Antoine Russell, beat guys like Sabrio Matias, beat guys like, you know, Richardson Hitchens and all of those other guys that's up there. You don't go up there and just think that you're going to get it done because you beat Pitbull, guy that has no business being up at 140, period. That has no business being up there. You know? So, you know, that's a problem. And I didn't place any bets because I didn't know what Ryo really looked like at 140. And Gary, I really didn't trust Gary because I know that these fighters are going to look to counter him if he tries to charge in which is what he's done in the past. But Gary switched it up. Shout out to the whole Russell family. I know that win was a big win. I was so happy, bro. I was happy because that whole family is a boxing family and they lost their pops. And that, like, I couldn't imagine how I would feel if I lost. You guys see the relationship I have with my dad. I could only imagine what it's like to lose your father when your father taught you everything you know. You know what I mean? Just imagine Danny losing his father, or, you know, like, you know, Tio losing his father, or Sean Porter losing his father. Like, these guys are so connected. I can only imagine what the Russells had to go through losing their pops, who's been in their corner and who's responsible for them in this boxing world in the first place. So I was really happy for Gary Russell Jr. I have nothing against Ryo. I had nothing against Ryo, by the way. I think Ryo's a good fighter, and I think he's improved. But I also feel like at 140, he was completely unproven. And with the WBA, they have been passing around that title to a bunch of guys that down at 135. Down at 135. You guys have no business at 140. You know what I mean? Jay Roos was good. Cowboy Meach was good. JC, everybody, Steelers, Blade was good. You got no business up at 140. Now, if he does have business at 140, he would have proved it last night. But being that I just did film study on Alberto Puello, I didn't think that Ryo was better than Puello. I think Ryo needs time to mold his style. He needs to learn how to adjust. There are times where he's going to have to box a little bit more, not just rely on the counters. When I say box, that doesn't just rely on setting traps and fighting on the back foot. No, that means this guy is throwing nothing but jabs at you and you can't do nothing about it. What are you going to do to take away his jab? All right, you improved your game to deal with pressure fighters, right? But you beat one kind of pressure fighter, a limited one, a guy that don't have the jab to do it. Gary Antoine Russell beat you with a jab, bro. He jabbed you to death and then set up the power punches. And then when it was time to exchange and trade with each other, guess what? Gary is a stronger fighter when it comes to that area because that's the way he loves to fight. He loves to fight, bro. So what are we doing? He had nothing for Gary. Gary so crazy. Gary was trying to knock him out in the last round. The championship rounds, Gary is already way ahead on points, and he's still trying to fight like he needs a knockout. This is why you give crazy amount of credit to Gary Russell Jr. Again, I didn't do no breakdown. I ain't put no money up for the fight. No, I did. I did put a little bit of money. I put like $30 up for a draw. You know, I think I would have got like $450. I put like $30 up for a draw because I felt like if there wasn't going to be a knockdown, the fight might have been close. But the fight wasn't close. Gary Russell one night, he sweeped him. He sweeped him. You know what I mean? And that was that. All right. So that's how I feel about that. I think now I would like to see Puello and Gary Russell Jr. running back in a rematch just to see if Gary does anything different in a rematch against Puello. You know, he already lost to him. I mean, the fight was competitive, but Puello, in my opinion, won the fight pretty clear. I want to see if Gary Russell has really improved and to see if we can get a unification. And I say those two because it should be easy to make. These guys are both PBC. And you know, I mean, they already been in the ring, and they both have a lot to gain. And if they were to do a unification, you know, and Barbosa's going to be fighting Teofimo Lopez. You know, everybody's already scheduled. You know, Barbosa going to fight Teofimo. Ryan and Devin Haney's going to be on the same card. Richardson Hitchens, well, he was supposed to get on that card to fight Tio, but he's not fighting Tio, so I don't really know. No, I wouldn't mind to see Hitchens in there, but if Hitchens is not going to be in there, I think the Puello and Gary Antoine Russell rematch is a realistic rematch that we can have right now. All right, they got the tank fight on. I got the tank fight on against Roach last night. I ain't watched the full fight again. I didn't feel like I needed to because I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna be 100% real. As I'm watching a fight and I'm trying to score the rounds, I feel like in the first half, because I had it. What I do remember is that I had it 3-3 after the 6, right? I think I gave Lamont Roach the first 3, and I gave Tank the next 3. Now I think the third round could have gone to Tank. But I felt like at that point after 6 that the momentum slowly started shifting into Tank's favor into the 7th round. The 7th round went down. Lamont clearly wanted me. The 8th round went down. Lamont clearly wanted me. And at that point, I'm saying to myself, yo, Lamont's doing everything better, in my opinion. Lamont is doing everything better. And what I mean by that, and I didn't talk about all this last night because I was just trying to get a quick review. Tank was going to body, and it was effective at one point, but Lamont was going to the body better. Lamont counters was better. Lamont hit harder than Tank, or at least was more effective than Tank. Lamont was getting caught with some shots in certain rounds, but he was fine. He didn't seem really bothered by anything. When Tank got caught by Lamont, Tank looked really bothered by those punches. Let's get to 100 likes, y'all. Do me that favor. We at 150, y'all. Let's at least give me to 100. Give me to 100, please. Like, come on, y'all. Like, what are we doing, man? Y'all making me feel like I have a whack channel or something. Can y'all give me at least to 100? Like, this is disrespectful. Like, what are we doing, y'all? Let's get to 100, man. And I'll leave you alone. Once we get to 100, I won't say nothing no more. Lamont, to me, and I didn't give him much of a shot. You know how we do breakdowns sometime, right? And I read your comments because y'all be giving whole breakdowns in the comment section, yo. Shout out to y'all that be leaving a whole novel worth of comments in the comment section. Lamont Roach, in my opinion, would have had to be perfect. You know how we say, yo, you have to be perfect in order to win or to make it competitive? Lamont Roach was perfect last night. And I feel like everybody that's talking, they're not they're talking about the knee and they're talking about how overrated Tank is right now. I don't think enough people was is giving Lamont enough credit for how he performed last night. I know I didn't before the fight, but I did after the fight. I'm watching the fight and I'm saying Lamont is countering better. His punches are more effective. He's outworking Tank, right? He's outworking him. So we got those three things. The counters are better, the punches are more effective, and he's outworking Tank. He's more durable than Tank. He's more effective than the body. He's the ring general. So we at 6. He's the ring general. He's controlling the fight throughout the entire fight. And not only that, he's keeping his composure. He's keeping his composure. Tank laughing. He's complaining at the referee. I'm watching it right now. He's going to Willis, and every time this guy hit him, he's complaining to the referee. He's talking about his grease. He's doing everything but fighting. He's doing everything but fighting. Lamont Roach, I thought there was a period maybe in the center, like the middle rounds, where I felt like he was taking a little bit too much hits, but the dude literally took all his power. He had no problems dealing with Tank's power. Tank didn't even like wobble his legs or nothing. He took his power. He ate all his punches and he kept doing the work. Yo, you know what's scary? When Lamont would rock Tank, like, or when Tank would throw a combination and land, and Lamont would return fire and back Tank up. That shit, I was watching this, yo. I was in the crib, like, yo, he's really in a dogfight with Tank. He's getting hit flush by Tank, and he's still coming forward and countering him and hitting him harder. And I was saying to myself, like, all right, now I wasn't expecting this shit. Like, it's one thing for Tank to have a rough night, or Tank to overlook Lamont, or you know what I mean, Lamont maybe even go the distance. But the fact that Lamont would trade with him, right? And Lamont was getting better of the clean flush punches that they both were exchanging and still come off better. I was like, oh, like, you guys are not giving him enough credit for what he was doing. And 99% of us, let's be real, 99% of us was wrong about this shit. I know a lot of people, no, not a lot. You got a few people, you got a couple people that's coming on here like, yo, you all underestimated Roach. I'm not talking about his relatives. I'm not talking about like people that just hate Tank. Yo, no one thought that Roach, based on what we seen from him, that he was gonna come like that, yo. There's no fight you can say, and this is for the people that feel like we all underestimated Roach. We obviously did. What fight are you gonna go from Roach's resume to say like, yo, you seen this fight? You seen this fight right here? He's gonna beat Tank. No one ever said that. That hasn't been said by no one. You could go to the McCrory fight. You could go to the Hector Garcia fight. You could go. I didn't even bring up the. I didn't even bring up the Heron fight. Well, I was gonna bring that fight up. That fight was in 2019. I wasn't gonna go by that fight. I brought up his most recent fights, and I said, this guy right here, I feel like he throws a little too wide. You know what I mean? I think Tank shots are quicker, they're shorter, they're a little bit more powerful. Lamont Roach has how many knockouts? How many knockouts he got? He got 10 knockouts. If you're being objective, no one's going to think that Roach is going to win the way that he did. Roach walked him down, walked through all of his power, and beat up Tank. And Tank had no answers for it. In fact, Tank is doing little shit like he's smiling, he's talking, he's doing everything to make it seem like he's the big brother out of the two. Like, yo, I'm just playing. No, bro, we see you fight serious. And there were times, especially after he got knocked down, or, well, he didn't get knocked down, but he took a knee. When Tate took the knee and he came back that round, he tried to be mad aggressive, and he was, right? He tried to blitz through Lamont like, yo, okay, now I'm not playing with you no more. And guess what happened? Lamont still ate his punches in that round. He still ate all of them shits. He still walked right through him like it was nothing. What's up, Aquia? What's good? He still ate through all of them like it was nothing. Let's not get distracted here. Tank may be overrated, but Lamont Roach, there's not many fighters that can do what he did last night. Because in order to beat Tank the way that Lamont Roach did, in my opinion, you would have to be able to take his punches. I'm not sure if Shakur Stevenson could just stand there and square up with Tank like the way Lamont did. I think Shakur wins. I always thought Shakur was the one guy that beat him, but I don't think Shakur beats Tank by fighting him the way that Lamont Roach did. I don't even think that for Keyshawn Davis. I don't think Keyshawn can just fight like a bully the whole time and win. Maybe he could. If they fight, maybe we'll see that. But going into the fight, I don't know if he can do that. I don't know if Devin Haney could do that. I don't know if Teofimo can do that, or anybody else, Lomachenko could do that. I don't know if these guys can beat Tank by taking so many punches. A lot of people are not adding that to the equation. You know what I'm saying? Lamont Roach had to be a bully, and he had to eat a lot of shots from Tank in order to perform that good. And a lot of people are not bringing that up. Everybody's bringing up how Tank looked whack or Tank is overrated. A lot of people are not bringing up how Lamont Roach walked him down, took his power, return fired, right? And outworked him while getting hit. Not enough people are talking about that. Shakur is not going to want to get hit. You know what I mean? Devin Haney's not going to want to get hit. Keyshawn might want to get a hit a little bit, but not nearly as Roach did. So I'm not saying those guys can't beat Tank. All I'm saying is that if they were to win the fights, I'm not sure if they can win the exact same way that Roach did. And that's why I'm saying, like, Roach got to get credit for the way he won, because he sat in the pocket and he came forward the entire time and ate everything that Tank had to offer and returned fire and did it better than Tank. You feel me? Like, you got to focus on that. And not enough people, I haven't heard anybody on YouTube. I'm not seeing nobody tweet that. I'm not seeing no one say that. Everybody's saying everything about Tank. Everybody's talking about the knee. Well, the knee is an obvious knockdown, but he won without the knee. I don't need to bring up the knee. He took a knee because he got to get his Jerry curl juice out of his hair. I get that, but forget about the knee for a second. Let's just talk about the fight. If there was never a knee, Roach won anyway. Roach won, in my opinion, either 7-5 or 8-4. There was no draw. There was no, oh, maybe it could go either way. Nah, nah, none of that shit. Tank just lost the fight. He lost the fight. You know, and it's crazy. What's crazy to me is how are you gonna be in Brooklyn? How you gonna be in Brooklyn? You're gonna be in Brooklyn talking about, yo, I had to wipe out the grease on my head. What? Yo, you what? I would have kept that to myself. And I know he was being honest, but at the end of the day, that made it even worse. So you complained all night to the ref, right? Because let's be real, the fight was Roach against the ref and Tank, right? Because Tank threw a freaking shoulder bump and the ref didn't even warn him. He didn't even tell Tank, chill, you can't do that. He didn't even do that. The referee was pro Tank, helped you out, gave him a free pass on the knee that he took. When you take a knee, that means you can't, at that moment, you need things to stop. So when you take a knee, I've seen guys take knee because they was getting pressure too much and they was taking too many hits. They took knees because maybe they hurt their hand or injured their arm or whatever, dislocation, whatever. They need a minute. Like they down, like I'm taking a knee. I don't want you to hit me while I'm trying to figure out what's going on. You know what I mean? Like people take knees all the time. It is a rule in boxing. It doesn't matter if you needed to rub out the grease out your hair. It doesn't matter what the excuse for it. See, it doesn't matter. You took a knee, bro. You stopped. You got hit with a jab, right? You got hit with a couple shots, I think. You got hit with a jab. You back up. You take a knee. You take a knee. And now you need to go and get something wiped off. You can't do that in the middle of a fight, especially an exchange. What are we doing? And according to the judges, based on how they scored the fight, if the two judges were to give Lamont Roach that extra point, it would have been a win for Lamont Roach. Based on how they scored it. So I didn't even have to include the knee in my scoring. I think Lamont Roach at the very least won 7-5. It was not a draw. At the very least, he won 7-5. Probably 8-4. Ikromudin Zawane. Hopefully I say your name right. Yo, thank you for donating, man. All right. He says from Glovegate to Greasegate. Yo, my man had too much Jerry curl juice in his head with those box braids. And he was getting hit with so many jabs that the grease started to slide down his forehead and going into his eye. Or it probably went into Lamont Roach's glove, and Lamont Roach was hitting him with jabs, so many jabs that it started to get into his eye. I believe the grease was really in his eye. I just can't believe he is in the middle of Brooklyn. He's downtown, and he's gonna say, "Yo, the grease from my hair. I just got my braids done. It, was in my eye and it was burning me." What? Yo, I know Brooklyn is like, get him out of here. I'm not from Brooklyn, but I know Brooklyn is the most aggressive. Anyone from Brooklyn, they are the most confident and aggressive people on the planet, in my opinion. And they was like, I know they must have been like, yo, get him out of here. Get this dude out of here. Because no one's gonna go in the middle of a fight and say, yo, my hair grease was in my eye. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's crazy. You know, J. Roos says Paulie Malignaggi said this was the worst robbery ever. I don't know about all that. Nah, it's not. Let's not get crazy. It's worse robberies than this. It was a planned robbery. After the fight was over and we were sitting down waiting for the scorecards, I said, "Well, Lamont Roach is going to get robbed." This is what I tweeted before the scorecards came up. Because at the end of the day, they was not going to give a decision to Lamont Roach in a competitive fight. Yeah, Roach was walking them down. I'm gonna throw the link up and get a few of y'all to get on and jump on because I know y'all ain't working. I know y'all ain't doing shit. Get on here, man. Get on here. I want to hear the opinions of some of the viewers, man. I want to hear what y'all got to say. You know, but yeah, nah, it is what it is. Tank lost a fight, and you know what? Losing a fight is not the problem to me. The problem to me was the way he was acting while in the ring, acting like he was shocked, like they're showing right now when he was in the corner when he heard the decision, acting like he was shocked. That was crazy to me. He looked more relieved that he didn't take an L. All right. Complaining to the ref the whole time, laughing and talking to Lamont Roach, all of that stuff, all that weird stuff that was going on, taking the knee, getting a pass for that, all of that stuff made me feel like, yo, Tank knows he's losing this fight. And at the end of the day, my only issue with Tank, and it's been my issue with Tank, you know, I don't really care what he do outside of boxing. I know he gets in trouble every now and then, whatever. I don't care about all that. But my problem with Tank is what he say in these interviews where he lets us know clearly that he's very insecure, he lacks confidence in himself, and he wants easy fights. He wants to take fights where he know he can win. This is why he didn't fight Devin Haney when they offered her 20 million, because he thought that if it went to the scorecard, he was going to get robbed over there in Saudi Arabia. He know the same thing with Shakur Stevenson. Him and his coach, they've been saying for a long time, we want that fight because this guy's not going to run. He's going to run and he's going to do all of this and that. You guys, or those guys over there, wanted, Tank got too comfortable with having fights where he went into the fight knowing he was going to win. And you know, and a lot of these guys are confident knowing that they got to win, but in their mind, they think that they got to do everything in their power in order to be able to compete against their opponent. Whereas Tank wanted to be in a situation where I already know they lining up my next opponent. I already know how it's going to go down. You know, this is like I'm giving you, he's looking at it like I'm giving you the opportunity to fight me because I'm the star. So just be happy that you're even getting this opportunity. And he keeps fighting opponents like that. Frank Martin, Lamont Roach, Ishak Cruz, Rolly Romero, Mario Barrios, Hector Garcia. All of these fighters are not fighters that people are asking to see Tank fight. All of these fighters are guys that are good, but we already know how the outcome is going to be. And Lamont Roach was supposed to be the outcome. But every once in a while, if you keep cherry picking, right? If you keep cherry picking, one of those picks is going to end up being like a grapefruit or some shit. I know that's corny, but it's going to be a fruit that's way bigger than a cherry. Like you expecting something very easy and simple, and then you end up picking a watermelon out of the damn tree or something. You know what I mean? That's what happened. Lamont Roach came in looking bigger at 135, looking stronger than you, walking you down. Nobody's expecting that. He's taking your punches. And Tank is not a round by round fighter. Tank is a guy that is going to catch you at some point, like Wilder was. How many rounds did Wilder give up to Luis Ortiz in that rematch before he knocked him out? How many rounds he gave up? Focus. What's good, bro?
Wait, what up, bro? How you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm great, man.
Good,
I'm
good,
with you
good, man.
guys. What
Cool,
do you
cool,
think?
cool. So look, I'll real quick with it, bro. I just wanted to say a few things. For one, my assessment of the situation would be partially biased because I really like Tank. I just the
I do too.
familiarity is this the you know what I mean the swag, everything just relates to like you know what I mean urban type culture. So I don't
Yeah.
really have anything negative, but I'm a boxing fan, number one. I follow the sport. So one thing I'll say is this. An easy observation to say that I don't think Tank is good with niggas his size or like shorter people, bro. He had problems with Pitbull Cruz. He didn't stop Gamboa when he was washed up until like the 12th round. I think
Hmm.
guys his size is just not for him. That's just number one. Number two, if you peep the corner, he was having like turmoil with Calvin and Hunter. I don't know what's going on with
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and I didn't really like that too much because you could see
He
the
said
bond.
something about that though. He did say something after the fight. He was like, "Yo, we
Yeah,
got to
yeah,
think
yeah,
some
yeah.
things in the corner."
So bro's obviously going through some stuff, bro. I don't know. I mean, if we giving Ryan a pass for being a psychotic, you know what I mean, demon type thing, like Tank can go through the same thing too, you feel me? So whatever he got going on is obviously affecting him, you know what I mean, in the media, everything like that. So I'm not making excuses. He lost the fight for sure, but me
Yeah.
personally, I saw it close. Close enough. If you didn't count the knee, if you don't count the knee, I saw it like it could be a draw. Everybody screaming big. I know you said it too, and I'm you know what I mean, listen, I look up to you. So like if you really saw it like a Roach win, I'd be like, dang, I'll have to reevaluate like my judgment. But I personally saw it as a it could go either way type of thing, or a draw is very fair because they was getting it. Nothing happened in the first 6 rounds, and then the next 6 rounds they was getting to it. Maybe Roach wants them clear, maybe this, that, the third. But the last thing I'll say, so anybody else can get on here and speak, because I don't want to be too long winded, is that I think, bro, at this point, the Shakur fight, the Keyshawn, that got to be dead. Tank got to crash out and cash out and just fight like show fights. Like go fight anyway, bro. You know what I mean? Fight. I think the decline is starting right now.
Who do you want to see him fight?
Bro, honestly, before this, the Shakur fight made a lot of sense, and then everybody else because I rate. Listen, regardless of who he hasn't fought, Tang's skills is undeniable. You know what I mean. We're
Yeah, yeah,
boxing
yeah,
analysts at the end of the day. We can
yeah,
see the
yeah,
dude
yeah.
has everything. So
Right.
honestly, any of them, and I would have put my money against all of them. But now that performance, regardless of how well Roach performed, because I think Roach is an excellent fighter. I was never the one that be like, oh, this is an easy walk in the park. He's good. He was just little and he don't got much power. So that's why
Right.
people judge him. That's why they give Shakur the negative treatment. You feel me? The lack of power. But right now, he gotta cash out and just fight names like anyway, bro. I mean it sounds dumb. I would never say this before that. But if we doing all this Bud Crawford Canelo thing and
Yeah.
Jake Paul, Mike Tyson thing, all the weird, fantastical type stuff, just crash out and cash out, bro. Now, I mean, I think at this point, the up and comers going Abdul would knock him
So in a
out.
way, when you say he has to cash out, isn't that a way of giving up on him though?
Bro, I don't want to see my man get put. I like Tank, bro. I really do. That's my guy. The last thing I want, bro, is for a guy up and coming that never did nothing in the weight class to come and put him out. And I think and Tank got a chin because Roach was cracking him. Regardless of how
Yeah.
many knockouts Roach had, he was catching him with some clean, know what I mean, lefts, rights on the pipe. Like he was catching him. So if somebody with real power come up, they might put Tank to sleep. And I don't want to see that. So person, I know that sounds contradictory because at the end of the day, as a boxing fan, you kind of want like the best matchups. But if a dude's declined, that's why. And I've always wanted to say this to you, but you never really opened the chat, so that's why I don't give Bud as much credit for the Errol Spence win. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, bro. You know what I mean? That's just me. You my guy, and I know you a Bud guy, but
Yeah.
I'm not the one to give Bud the full credit for that. But that's what I'm saying. I don't want to give like I like Keyshawn. So if Keyshawn wants to beat Tank, let's say a year from now, the way he's looking right now, declining. If he had another performance like tonight, I'd be like, I don't know. You watched the dude that was clearly going through something. Like he might be Wahid right now. He might not even be Tank Davis. He might be what's his name, Wahid. So that type of thing. So let me get up out of it so anybody else can come and chip in. But me, I would say the without the knee, the decision is fair. I think a draw is okay. You feel me? Either that or you could go either way type of thing. And then the last thing is that I don't think the Shakur fight ever happens. The next realistic fight might be a Lomachenko.
Yeah, I
Might be a
think
Lomachenko.
Lomachenko. I thought about that. I wanted to talk about that. I think Lomachenko is sitting back and watching everybody, and he's trying to decide if he is, because he still holds the belt. So if he's gonna come back,
Yeah,
everybody done fought at this point. Like Keyshawn fought, Shakur just fought last week, and now Tank fought this week. So maybe he's gonna, come back and give himself a shot. But like the reply to what you said, we also got to remember, and I was saying this earlier in the video, all of these guys that we just named, even if we're talking about like Haney or Ryan fight and rematch in the future,
yeah,
Lamont took his power though, and I don't know if everybody's gonna be able to do that. I don't think Tank is on a decline. I think he fought someone that wasn't afraid of him, that was able to
yeah.
take his power, because he got hit. It's not like he got outboxed completely to a point where he was getting hit, but
Right,
he received the punches better than Tank did. You think Shakur is gonna sit there and just try to beat him up the same exact way? I don't think it's gonna happen that way. Shakur is gonna do it in a way where he doesn't get hit.
I got
Keyshawn is
you.
gonna do it in a way where he might try to be a bully because he's a big dude at 135. Everybody that's left is gonna do it in a different way. Even if
Right.
Lomachenko returns, it's not gonna be in the same way. You feel me? So that's the way I'm looking at it right now.
Right. Now, the only reason I say that is because it's not like he's declining physically. He's like Wilder. I never thought Wilder declined
He's not
physically.
declining, bro. He's not declining,
But
yo.
wait,
He's
wait,
not
wait, wait, wait,
declining.
wait, 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 wait. No, no, no. This seems unfair because I'm just saying, like, I'm gonna let somebody else. Because I appreciate your time, by the way, Wave. You don't never
Nah, nah,
open the
nah. Go
chats.
ahead, do your thing.
So look. I'm not saying he's declining physically. The guy's a specimen, bro. I mean, he generates power. For a little guy, like in a way. These guys
Yeah,
is these guys is specimens. You feel me? So he's not declining. But look at Wilder. Wilder looks like an Olympian, bro. Wilder looks crazy. But his mentality, his confidence, all these things decline. It starts psychologically, cognitively, and all that stuff. It starts that way, and then it trickles down to the muscle fibers, to the tendons, to the reactions, to the reflexes. Tango's
yeah,
getting hit too much by a guy that, in my opinion, isn't all that fast. He's
yeah,
clever, but Roach isn't all that fast to be getting. He was getting hit clean, bro. If Roach had any more pop, or if Tank didn't have a chin, he might have got really dropped. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my assessment, bro. Like I,
yeah.
I I don't
I
know how
got
else
you.
to say it, and I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not as articulate as you to be. It's funny because I'm gonna watch this live again tomorrow when I'm at the gym. And I'm like, you know what? He just said something, and I just like sounded dumb trying to like critique what he
Nah,
just said.
nah,
So
nah. It's good. It's all good. I'm glad you listen. Thank you for coming through. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
for sure, my brother.
I like. I don't. I gotta open up the chats more, man, because I
Yeah, bro,
love.
please do. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. And
yeah,
listen, before I leave, my brother, I always commented, and last thing before I go, bro,
yeah.
by any chance you dropping the merch soon? Because I've always wanted to show support and
I
love, and
know. I
it's been
know.
like a damn near a year now. I'm like, where's
I
my
know.
wow,
I know. I know. I
bro?
know.
Everybody in here is gonna show support. And by the way, bro, you got hella followers, subscribers to not like take off with it. Know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
you're the
No, I know.
realest. This ain't no dick riding. This ain't no gaslighting. The
Yeah.
realest boxing channel. I swear to God. I don't know how Showbiz made it. All he do is scream and make funny noises. And you keep it mature and real.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
sitting
Yeah.
here because everybody that watch it junk come back every single time. He get like casual fans, but you
Yeah.
got dedicated church. Anyways, listen, yo,
Yo.
one love, my brother.
Thank
I'll be
you.
I'll be back on
Yo,
the chat. One.
CJ, let me get you on. Yo, I just want to shout out to Charles Edward Cheese, man. Thank you, my man. Thank you. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. Crazy ass Charles Edward Cheese always coming through with the crazy donations, man. I appreciate you, my brother. Wherever you at, man. Thank you. Support. Thank you for supporting. Yo, CJ, what's good? You hear me?
Oh,
We can't.
I was muted. What's going on,
Oh, okay.
Wave? How you
What's
doing
good?
tonight?
What's good? What's good?
Hey, man, chilling. Tapping in from California, Sacramento to be exact. Um, yeah, man. The fights last night was crazy. Um, in terms of the result, the outcome, I had it 7-5 Roach even without the knockdown. So I guess that would be a 3-point victory in my
Mm-hmm.
book. Um, I hate how dirty boxing is, and I hear some people saying that boxing has always been corrupt. It's just part of it. You need to accept it, but at what point do we try to make a change in it? And I don't know exactly how we as fans would do that, but at least not accepting it and making a, I don't know, making a ruckus, making our voices heard, maybe with how we spend our money the next fight. But this was corruption in my opinion. I can't condone it. Um, and that was one of my favorite reps. What's to do? Steve Willis. With the big the big eyes, man. I've been a fan of his until last night, but yeah, that's too bad. I'm glad that Russell became a champion. I want to acknowledge the undercard too, not just the main event. Shout out Gary Antoine Russell for finally snatching a belt. Shout out to him, long overdue. What was we talk? Shit, I'm kind of like the last guy. I don't know. I'll land real quick with this. I don't know the last guy's name. This is the first time I've seen you have an open panel. I'm not sure how long you've been doing it, but I've been subscribed for a couple years, man. I really enjoy seeing you and your pops call the fights, man. It's cool. It's a good experience. So shout out to you.
Thank you. What I will say is this: that the only thing I'm disappointed about is that when people talk about boxing to me, like last night, a lot of my friends, this is one of those fights. I think the last time mad people that hit me up that like are kind of casual with boxing hit me up was the Tyson card with Serrano and Taylor and all that.
Right. Yeah.
So a lot of people started texting me crazy that don't watch boxing, but they'll watch it on a fight like this. And everybody was saying me like, yo, man, what happened? Yo, Tank, that was a robbery. The same thing with Taylor and Amanda Serrano or whatever. Everybody was hitting me like, yo, that women's fight was crazy. I thought this chick won, yada, yada, yada. What I get upset about is when a lot of people that don't watch boxing no more, or maybe don't watch it much, and they see those decisions, and then they be like, see, this is why I don't even watch boxing, because it's mad corrupt. And that is what makes me mad, because even though Tank didn't get the L on his record, I mean, he got a draw. So it is kind of a blemish on his record because he had a perfect record before. Even though he didn't get the actual loss, it's like now people feel like you're a fraud because you got a pass from the referee. You went and wiped off your grease and all that. You laughing, you joking around, you playing around. And now people are looking like, damn, bro, you're not as good as I thought you was. And when you lost to most people, they even gave you a pass for it. And it's on a massive level. Like, even though people try to diss Tank, like, let's be real. Like, as far as Americans, Tank is the most popular. And the gentleman that was on Focus, that was on here a minute ago, he was saying something like, I like Tank because of the urban thing. And I'm like, yo, that's why Tank is as big as he is. Something about him is different, especially to black folks. You coming out with, you got tattoos over, you got the box braids, they see you with the red. You came out with Jim Jones and Jewels in New York. Like, Jim Jones is on fire right now, with all the Cam. I don't know if you listen to all that, but if you listen to it, like, I'm from the Harlem, I'm from the Bronx. Cam and Jimmy, all of that is hot right now. So you come out with Jim Jones, you got the box braids, you got the tats, you know what I mean? You fly, like, you represent hip hop culture in boxing. So a lot of
most
people,
definitely.
This is why 20,000 is gonna pull up in Brooklyn to come see him. And people could say he's not big in America. No, he is the biggest American fighter. Yeah, you got Canelo, but he's not really from America. But his fights, his biggest fights is here. But Tank is the face here, but people want to deny it or not. And people want to admit to it or not. And this is why people pull up. He can fight anyone, and they still came out to Brooklyn. He's not even fighting in Baltimore. He's fighting in Brooklyn, and look at the turnout for it. I damn sure I almost went because I felt like I just wanted to be there. You know what I mean? So sometimes I just want to be. I've been trying to say. I said this in a live recently. I'm trying to take my mom to a fight. I never went to a fight with my mom, and I know my mom might be watching. My mom watch all of my lives, but I went to a million fights with my dad. I never took my mom to a fight, and I was thinking about taking her to this one. I was thinking of taking her to the Keyshawn one, but I know I'm saying a lot. I'm just trying to let you know, like, this is a black eye to people that don't watch boxing like that, because 95% of people thought Tank lost, and they saw the judges give him the win, even with the knee.
No, I'm experiencing the same thing here, man. I got friends that used to watch boxing and not so much anymore. Like, I got tired of the corruption. And that was what my homie was saying last week with the Carlos Adames, and what he's saying now about the Tank fight. So I feel you. It does turn the casuals off, but we're gonna watch regardless. I guess we kind of our own worst enemy right there, but because we're gonna support it regardless. But yeah, the casuals ain't gonna watch if they know it's dirty, and I don't blame them, to be honest. So
Yeah.
that's where it's at. Hey, again, thanks for having me up. I'm gonna dip out, let the next man come up. Salute to you, Wave.
All right, thank you, appreciate it. MC Treasure, what's good? You there?
Yeah, sorry. How's it going?
What's good, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I won't even lie. When I heard what Focus said, I felt some kind of way because he kept saying he's a boxing fan, but all I heard was like Tank fanboy talk. Like he's talking about, oh, I don't want to see him go out like that. He's declining. He should go do like gimme fights and cash out. I'm like, are you a boxing fan or you a man fan? Which one is it? Because let's keep it real. Tank is a great fighter, but he's also like a media creation, and that's my biggest problem with Tank. Is like Tank has avoided everybody that got smoke for him in his weight class. Every single one of them. He always finds these guys he brings up from like 2 weights or 1 weight class below. Knocks
people
them
defend
out.
them for it. People will defend them to the death.
Yeah. Exactly. So I'm like, this was inevitable. At some point, if you keep picking up these guys, one of them's gonna surprise you. And now you got to really think about it. Is it better had he gambled and fought somebody like Shakur and it was a close fight and maybe they gave it a Tank? At least that's still a big fight. It still sells well. People are going to want to see a rematch and all of that. But no, he gambled, picked up Lamont Roach, got outclassed like defensively, counterpunch wise, ring generalship, took a knee. I don't know why, out of nowhere. Referee started counting, stopped counting. Like everything was just like, it was so blatantly like rigged that I think it did more damage to Tank when it was trying to avoid that type of damage by even picking a guy like Roach in the first place. So the big issue I think is, I think the media, because I blame the media for it. I don't blame the fighter. Like if you're in that position, you're gonna take it. Your management team, your promotional company, they're gonna take it. They're gonna try to make the most money they can, right? But I blame the media because the media is not being honest enough. The media has let him get away with it.
You can't, because if you look at the media, I'm sorry to cut you off. If you look at the media that do interviews with him, sometimes he'll be like, nah, I seen you talking mad shit about me. I don't want to do an interview with you. Like, that's how it be sometimes. The guys that get credentials, they get their credentials revoked, or they'll pull up and they'll be working the event, and it's time to ask questions, and Tank call them out on something that they said that wasn't pro Tank at the time. And that's why I like to have the freedom to get on here and to say what I want to say, because I don't want to make friends with nobody in the boxing industry. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to just be able to just talk my shit.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like the YouTube, like independent media will go to the events, like the Fight Hype and the Fight Hubs. I get that, but even like the mainstream media, like the super casual general sports analysts, like Stephen A. Smith, Cameron. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't really follow the sport, but they parrot the same narratives that they get from the promotional companies. And they basically make that media manufactured image of Tank 2 or 3 times bigger than what it actually is. And it's like a cycle, right? Because you hear them talk about it. If you don't really follow the sport, you're gonna think like, oh, Tank's the greatest guy. Who's Devanini? Who's Teofimo Lopez? Who's Shakur Stevenson? He's boring. He can't fight. He ain't got no skills. That's how people start to think, right? And it keeps growing that way. And now people are gonna start saying Lamont Roach is like the next, like, they'll be like his number 2 after Tank is number 2. All these other guys don't exist,
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what? We got to look at this guy. Like, when it comes to Roach now, everybody's going to want, like, Shakur, him did his little talking back and forth out of respect. Like, Roach, he called out Roach. He's like, listen, if you can't get the rematch and you want another title fight, you my bro, but I'll fight you. You know what I mean? And, at the end of the day now, everybody's going to rate Roach very high because of that performance, as they should, because most of us think he won the fight.
Yeah.
But before this fight here, Roach wasn't even proven to be the best at 130 yet. You know what I mean? Like, and this is without, everybody keeps bringing the Jamel Herring fight. That fight was a long time ago. I remember watching it live. I think he's improved since then, but I didn't think he improved that much to where he can just make Tank look like that. But one thing about Roach, and I'm gonna go to the next person. I'm gonna let you finish. Roach durability is a key factor in that performance last night because he was able to walk through what Tank was dishing out, and I'm gonna keep bringing that up. Not everybody is gonna be able to do that. I think if Roach fights some of these other champions or some of these other top fighters, you may not knock him out, but there's ways to outbox him, and Tank has always been low volume. So if he's not beating you on points, other fighters can beat you on points better. So I don't want Roach. What could happen is, let's just say hypothetically, Roach goes into a fight with Shakur Stevenson next, right? And Shakur is boxing his ears off. And then everybody's going to be like, wow, like, look what Shakur did to Roach, but Tank did this. The styles don't really, it may not match up well with Roach, depending on who he's facing this. And I think that could be a bad look for Roach, because people will turn and forget about this performance if he doesn't perform again. There's a lot of pressure on him now to see if he can live off this performance.
Yeah, no, facts, agreed. Like, just basically what I'm trying to say is, I think the media needs to push towards the direction of, let's see the fights. Like, no more IDing or protecting Tank or any fighter. Let's see the real fights people want to see. Nobody asked for Tank or Lamont Roach. Nobody asked for Tank or what was his last fight, Frank Martin. Like, nobody asked for that, really. So it's time Tank really takes the real risks, make the most money. If you're gonna cash out, you might as well do it the right way. Yeah. Fight one of your peers and get the respect for doing it.
Right.
That's all. I'm gonna let you jump on the next call, though.
All right. Thank you, MC. Appreciate it.
All right. Cheers.
Leslie, you there?
Yes, I am. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's your Sunday going?
Oh, my Sunday's going good. I just broke fast, and so now I'm ready to eat up everything in the house. Mm-hmm. And but it's good. Thank you. And I'm sorry I didn't show my face because I'm looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing everything. So I apologize. But you know what I want to say to you guys? I watched the fight last night, and then I watched it about an hour ago. And for me, and I don't have all this boxing excellence. I did grow up in a home where I used to watch Larry Holmes spar, and Muhammad Ali is like family to me. So I know it on that level. But I think for Tank, he's not diverse enough. And it was very basic. Once is that my phone?
I think so, yeah.
Why was he doing that? What did I do?
I think someone might have to turn the volume down. If everybody that's not talking, go on mute real quick. Appreciate it.
Is that okay?
Yeah, and everyone that's not talking. I got you. I'm
it's bugging. You can hear me?
Okay, you're good now. Yeah.
Okay. I apologize, guys. But
no, you good. It's not you.
I felt as far as him when they were boxing, and it's funny because I live outside of DC. I live like 20 minutes from DC. I'm from Queens. And, my son, he lives like a block or two from the Barclays. So he was able to get tickets yesterday and went. And I was talking to him and, I have money. I've never bet before, but I was going to put money on Tank because I just didn't believe in Roach because he's a lot of these boxers out here in DC, there's just something about them. There's just a different style and they're not like a hard hitter, you know what I'm saying? Just very hard hitters, finishers. So but then when I saw the pre-fight interview, you know, he's still just, you could look at the kid and see that something was going on internally, you know? And I don't know if his passion for boxing is going. I don't know if him hanging out in New York, because every time I see him now, he's got a Yankee on, you know what I'm saying? He's got a fitted on, and, you know, he's looking at other things. They're opening his eyes to other things, but he got mentally taken out of that game and out of that fight. And that's simple as that. You know what I'm saying? You know, mental, people don't understand, you know, if the mental has everything else functions that way. And he got frustrated. He tried to do a Mike Tyson and bite the ear like it was a Mike Tyson in Holyfield. You saw him?
Yeah.
Yeah, and stuff like that. So I don't think it's a, you know, I think Roach is a good technical fighter. You know, defense, he did well. But I think as far as his confidence, and I don't think Tank is this great fighter. Do I think he could be? Yeah, but he needs people around him, and those people have been with him. This guy has been working since he was 8, and that's what, you know, it's actually harder work, because I had a son that went to the NFL, and the work that he put in, and he went to a D2 school to make it, was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And this kid is, you know what I'm saying? He's only, what, 25? Is he 25, 26?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and some.
well, no. Well, Roach is 29 and
No, I'm talking about Tank.
Yeah, Tank is 30.
He always 30?
Yeah, he's already 30. Yeah.
Oh, word?
Yeah. No,
Okay, but he's still a baby to me. I mean, to me, look, I hate to tell you, but he is.
He's not
And
that young though.
Yeah, but I felt like he did. It wasn't, you know, and I watched one of his videos today, and at first I didn't believe him, because when he was talking about, I don't know, the blue magic or the hair grease, whatever happened, you wear the same braids every fight. You know what I'm saying? And so these weren't any different braids. You get it done fresh every fight. But then when I saw the video, did you see he was saying that he didn't understand if he tapped out? I mean, if not tapped out, if he took a knee, that he couldn't do that?
Oh, I didn't see that video, but
you guys didn't see, none of you guys saw it. He was saying, and I don't view him as a liar. I used to not like him. I used to think he was cocky, but and this is me as a woman, and I'm also a Leo. I'm a people person. So, and I'm not trying to sound crazy, you guys, but you know, you can't really understand a win until you had defeat. You know, so a perfect record means nothing if you don't know what to do, you know what I'm saying, when you're drowning, right?
Yeah. Well, let me just say this, and I'm gonna let you finish, and then
no, go ahead. I'm not gonna take up all your time.
Sometimes these fighters are better after the first loss.
Yeah.
The pressure off the first loss is over.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, and you know what? I don't know what he's gonna do next.
Yeah.
But
I don't think he knows.
Might be one of those situations where he might just
step
not
away.
care no more. Like, the pressure of that first loss is off of him now. You know what I mean? So that could be a thing. You know, I wanted to actually say that last night when I did my quick video, but
I felt the same way too, because to have to maintain what they call perfection, nothing is perfection, you know? Yeah. And perfection is what we create. But I think, like you said, sometimes you got to step away from things and you know, walk away and look at things differently. Because first of all, the ref, you know, you're in there to ref the fight and also to protect those fighters, their safety, you know? It was just, you know, it was unfortunate, but I'm just pissed about my money. First time I ever betted, you know, so it is what it is. But I just wanted to hop on real quick, and I appreciate you guys. I love you. Assalamu alaikum.
Right,
and next time I'm in Brooklyn, I'll holler at you guys.
All right. Shout
okay,
out
you guys have a good night.
You too. Yo, RJ, you there? Oh, let me put you.
Yeah, you good. You good, brother.
What's good, bro? How you doing?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
What you think,
man, I'll say this. I think Tank won the fight, and from rounds 1 to 7, I would say Tank got that. You know what I'm saying? I think Tank from rounds 1 to 7. It was a lot of patty caking in the first 6 rounds, but I would give the nod to Tank. Now in the 8th round, I'm gonna have to give that one to Roach, because I rewatched the fight, and I rewatched it about twice today, and I had to really lock in the 3rd time. And in my eyes, I'm looking at the fight. I'm all like, well, okay, Tank got the first 7. Then Lamont turned up in the 8th. Then, ironically, after he had that knockdown or whatever, he took a knee, he turned up on Roach in the 9th round, in my eyes. And then Lamont Roach won the last 3. So it depends on how you look at the fight, because the fight really
just quick. You gave Tank all 7 of the first rounds, first 7 rounds.
I did.
Oh man,
I did. I mean, I looked at it, bro. If you look at from rounds 1 to 6, I mean, it was a lot of patty caking, filling each other out. It was just a lot of, sizing each other up. And when I looked at the fight twice. Maybe I need to look at it again, but I see Tank. In my eyes, I'm saying he got those one from rounds 1 through 6, and he definitely got 7 in my eyes. Now,
I will say, I just will say this. I thought the fight you said 7, but I thought the first 6 rounds were very back and forth. Like I gave 3 and 3. I had 3 and 3 in the first 6. So I thought the first 6 rounds was more competitive. And I think outside of the knee, Tank was probably at his best in the 9th round. So as far as agreeing with you, that's probably the most I can agree. I think the 9th round, Tank won the round outside of the knee. And I think in the first 6, I gave Tank 3. I know some people out there gave him more than that, but I thought the fight was closer and more swingable rounds in the first 6 rounds, in my opinion.
I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but maybe I just need to rewatch. But like I said, I would say, I think so. After 7, the first 7, I mean, depending on how you look at it, if you think that, because the fight really didn't broke out in my eyes until like the 6th, 7th round. And so those rounds, in my opinion, were the rounds that I was really like, okay, who really won this fight? Yeah. And if you just put from 7 to 12, I have Roach winning 4, and then I have Tank winning 3 of those rounds. So I mean, if you just take out those first 6 rounds, Roach won the fight. But if you add, to me, if you say, well, Tank from round 1 to 6, and if you agree saying that Tank won those first 6, then you add the 7 and etc. Then to me, in my eyes, Tank won. But yeah, so
what do you want to, just real quick, because I don't want to hold up too long. What do you want moving forward for Tank and Lamont Roach?
For Tank, I actually want to see a rematch between them two. I think that would be good. I think Tank, I think every fighter, I think, to be a legend and to be in that Hall of Fame, I think you need to get your get back. He got you the first time, but come back stronger and get your get back and get that rematch going. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I feel like that would, because his resume is not the best, but I think if he had a rematch with Lamont Roach, I think that could boost his resume, just because of the simple fact that, I feel like from the boxing community, he'll get respect for doing that. Yeah. Because there's a lot of people, the block is talking, man. Like they're saying, well, you lost against Lamont Roach. Okay, well, come back and let's have a rematch and let's prove that you can come back and win the fight against Lamont. For Lamont, I think keep doing what you're doing. Try to get the big names now. I feel like he's deserving of that. I mean, you just fought one of the top 10 pound for pound. I think you should since you already have the momentum and people are talking about you. Let's get him a big name and keep the momentum flowing. But I do want to see a rematch between them, but that's probably not going to happen right away. So for Tank, I feel like he should definitely fight Shakur. That's a fight that people want to see for sure.
All right, my man. Thank you. I appreciate you coming.
Yes, sir. No problem. You have a good one.
We're gonna move it down. Mikey, what's up, man?
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you clear.
Hi, it's Mikey from London in the UK here. It's about 2:00 in the morning, but been watching your channel for a while. I like your balanced and based opinions on the sport. So I just wanted to give
Thank
my
you.
2
Appreciate that.
cents on
Appreciate that.
no problem, mate. I just wanted to give my 2 cents on the fight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily agree that Tank won the first 7 rounds from your last caller. I don't think he was active enough in the first couple of rounds. I do think Tank's style needs to change, where he's sort of expecting to sort of get to a fighter late in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, as he fights, more skilled fighters who have, better chins, it's going to be just difficult to get the knockout. He needs to be more active in the earlier rounds.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, though, I do think boxing does have a problem whereby, like, if there's like an upset, like yesterday, for example, people tend to sort of overreact. I do think the fight was actually really close. I don't think the draw was a bad, it was, 7-5. People are saying 7-5 for Lamont Roach or 7-5 for Tank. So it is a swing round, one swing round. So it could have gone either way, really. What I did want to talk about, though, mate, if you don't mind, is about the knockdown. My issue with the knockdown was, why wasn't Lamont Roach corner like more animated about not getting the count there? It's like everybody was confused in the entire arena. Like, could you just sort of give your opinion on that? Like, why wasn't more people sort of like enraged about the knockdown?
I think at the moment, I think the referee is the person that needs to, handle that situation. I don't think the corner, like, what exactly is the corner supposed to do? Like, get in the ring and jump around and scream like that was a knockdown? I understand that. I've seen corners do that kind of thing, but that can make things go left real quick. So in my opinion, I think that the referee should have just did his job as a referee, because it's the way that it's the rules of the sport. I don't think the corner getting involved at that time and being animated makes it any difference. I just think that when you take a knee, right, he didn't back away. And like, I've seen guys get hit with good shots or maybe have some kind of malfunction, whether it's glove, and then I seen them back off like this and say, hold
Right.
up, like this I'm having an issue here. And then the ref will decide whether to let it continue, or maybe the opponent will still try to fight. Roach backed off because he thought that this guy took a knee. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, I believe he landed a shot and then a jab. And I thought at the moment that he might have gotten thumbed because he was clearly going like this with his eye. And I thought maybe with the jab, maybe the thumb caught him in the eye. And Roach fell back at the moment. He didn't continue. But Tank taking the knee made me think like, oh shit, is he all right? Like, what was the fight we seen recently with Espinoza and the Cuban fighter?
I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Okay.
Is that featherweight? Is it
Ramirez, the
right.
Olympic gold medalist, they
Robesi.
fought, and Ramirez got hit and he was knocked out, but he stopped and turned and went like this. And those are the reactions of someone that just can't continue at the moment. And when Tate turns and takes a knee, it's like, yo. Then he reached. Listen, I don't think anybody but the referee was supposed to react to that at that moment. That's just my opinion.
No, that's definitely fair enough. Just before I go, how do you also feel about? I feel like Tank doesn't get the respect for beating Ryan Garcia the way he did because of the rehydration clause. How do you feel about that?
I think it was a good win. I think Ryan, at the end of the day, even if he was a little drained, I focus more on the way that Ryan fought in the fight, more so than him, whether or not him being drained. I said before the fight, he shouldn't have agreed to fight at 136 because he had took the year off and then he came back and started fighting above 140. So I thought it was a huge mistake to agree to that weight. But the way that he was fighting, and he said it even after the fight, he was fighting very impatiently, whereas Tank fought patient, and Ryan just wanted to charge after the first round, because I just watched it because I was doing film study for this fight.
Right.
Tank, after the first round, Ryan did not want to stand there and box with Tank. He wanted to go there and be aggressive, and it led to him getting caught with that first shot and getting dropped because he wanted to just attack, and Tank was being patient and waiting for the right shot. And I think people should focus more on strategy more so than weight and rehydration clothes and draining and all that. I think that's what people need to look at when it comes to that fighting, because even Ryan and even with Devin Haney, what do a lot of people say about Devin Haney? Yeah, this guy was overweight. Yeah, this guy failed the drug test, but you still got caught with the hook in the first round. And even Devin Haney said, yo, I prepared for it, but I kind of, was underestimating him too. And he said that out of his own mouth. And when fighters say that, Ryan and Devin say that after their losses, it confirms what I feel and what I saw in that ring that night, even with the advantages their opponents have.
I mean, no, you've made some good points there. I'm gonna let you get on to the next person. And thank you for hearing me out at least. And have a good night.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you coming through. Gio, what's up, man? You there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I know you was waiting for a minute. You had bounced out and came back, but what's up?
Okay, my bad. I think I didn't really care about the fight first, but I didn't even order. I watched the highlights only. But
Okay.
I said it seemed like Tank won, but I just want him to step up already.
You said you think Tank, well, you didn't watch the full fight, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
You just want him to step up. Who do you want him to fight?
I mean, to be realistic, the only fight that makes sense is Loma. But the thing about it is that I don't want this to be a pattern anymore, where you have to fight him like all too late.
You think it's too late?
I think it'll be a great fight, but I feel like this fight should have been done a long time ago.
Yeah, I think it's too late. And I don't say that because Loma just destroyed Cambosos last year. Not saying that like this career win or nothing like that, but what I'm saying is I don't think Loma. I think Loma lost his spirit in the sport.
Yeah.
And to me, it doesn't matter what his ability is. I just don't think he wants, like, when you take these long periods off, it makes me feel like you don't want to do it no more.
Exactly. Yeah.
Your heart is not in it, and I don't want to see the fight. I would like Lomachenko. I think if he wants to come back and take a fight, that's cool. But I don't think right now fighting Shakur, Keisha, I would have all of them beating him just because I don't think he really wants to do it no more.
Yeah, they did an interview and they said that he's still kind of interested about it, but like I said, he's like in between. So
in between is not enough for me.
No, all right, makes sense. Yeah.
I think right now, I'm not talking about ever.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I think it would be, out of the champions, it would be the easiest fight for Tank right now. I just think that, and again, it's right now. I'm not talking about when Loma first won to 135. I just think right now, I would favor the other three to beat him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like El Heyman has a lot to do with it? Because there's, how they always move their fighters in the right direction.
Yeah, of course. I mean, PBC is an in-house. They're the only ones that's not working with everybody. I mean, look at Shalom and freaking Eddie Hearn. They hate each other, and they understand the business. Frank and Eddie works together. Oscar and Eddie. Well, everybody feels like everybody hates Eddie, but these guys are willing to work together. Bob has been willing to work with them. All these guys has been willing to work. Tom Rank is keeping it in-house for now. I don't know how long it's going to go with Amazon, but I think it has a lot to do with Al Heyman. I think at one point he really just felt like he had a stable big enough to where he didn't have to deal with fighters on the outside.
Yeah.
But then it got to a point where people started wanting unifications, and people were just tired. I mean, look at the welterweight division. They had a full house of people.
Yeah.
Thurman, Garcia, Porter, Spence and Ugas and all of those guys, even Pacquiao taking fights over there.
Yeah.
And I just think that they didn't have to step outside of their comfort zone to give
true.
other fighters that they didn't build an opportunity to fight for those titles that they had. And it just it didn't work out because it just financially it just didn't work for them. So, you know, I think Al Heyman is to blame, but I also at the end of the day, you know, as a fighter, you know, I don't know what those rumors say. I said this a long time ago. None of us know what those meetings are like.
That's true. We
You
don't know.
know,
Yeah.
it could be Al Heyman telling the fighters what they're gonna do. It could be the fighters telling what they want to do and him trying to work with it. We don't know if the fighters are telling Al Heyman, "Hey, give me the easier fight." You know, we don't know what those meetings are like with Al. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and just assume like this is that and this is that. You know, I don't really don't know. You know, I just all I know is I'm in the same boat as you. I want Tank to step up. I've been wanting him to step up, and you know, I'm a little disappointed that it took someone that no one was asking to see him fight to give him his first real tough fight.
And he only had the Pedraza fight, no?
Yeah, he only had a Pedraza fight. I think the Pedraza fight, and I probably did content on this years ago, but I remember going into that fight, I didn't know if it was too soon for Tank.
I was thinking the same thing.
You know, and Tank to this day is still doing interviews where he feels that Floyd was trying to sabotage his career by giving them that fight.
I thought he was ready for Loma.
Well, I thought he was ready for Loma after the Pedraza win.
Me too.
But I will say this. Tank doesn't believe himself as much as the people around him, unfortunately. You know, and Floyd Mayweather was the one that made that call, and he felt like Floyd was trying to sabotage his career by giving him that fight, which is I can't believe he's still saying that in 2025.
Yeah, I feel like Floyd has come for him too much for way too long.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But thank you, man. Thank you, and take care, and I love your channel. Great channel.
Appreciate you for being here. Thank you. What's up, Will?
What's going on, Wade? Hey, I'm checking in from Florida. I just wanted to talk about the fight last night. So, if the roles were reversed, if the performances were reversed, Tank would have gotten a win, correct?
Yeah, I think you know, at least in my observation of the fight, I just thought that Roach overall was more consistent and did everything a little bit better than Tank.
Yeah, that's one thing I can't really stand about any fanboy because I'm a fan of the sport. So it's like Devin Haney is probably one of my favorite fighters, but when he went in there against Ryan, I was like, damn, you know what I mean? Ryan getting the best of him, he gonna win this one. But then when the pets come out in the end, it's like, okay, cool. You can't really gig them too much. So the same for like the Tank fans. It's like they're watching a fight and they get the draw. But if performances were reversed, if Tank had that same Lamont Roach performance, oh yeah, we watched this man. We sitting them we rocked him a few times. We made him take a knee, and he would have gotten that knee. He would have got that 8-10 round.
Yeah, I think there are certain fights where people said that the underdog impressed so much that people just feel like they won the fight. You know, like was it Teofimo against that guy? Like his last fight, was it?
Oh yeah.
Who was that guy? That pressure fighter guy that just was just rushing in and overwhelming him.
Dude, I forgot. I know you're talking about.
Yeah, not Jermaine or Ortiz, the other guy that he fought. I can't remember.
When he went up to 140, that was his first fight, right?
Nah, not that fight. It was a few fights because he's been at 140 for like 4 fights now. Because remember, Steve Claggett, they said in the comments.
Okay.
So I don't think Claggett won, but I also think that he performed way better than most people had expected, and it had ended up being a very competitive fight. And I think those are like situations where, you know, sometimes people get a little ahead of themselves and be like, yo, this guy won. But to be honest, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys. I'm watching the fight last night, and I'm like saying to myself, okay, Tank is gonna make this work out at some point, because I'm getting a little nervous, because this guy is in the pocket, walking him down, and he's taking his power. And if a fighter is taking your power and you're just not really that active, that makes me think that you could be losing on the cards. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I
I
feel it.
I do like Tank. Um, I mean, I love boxing, so I want the right man to win all the time, even if it's against my bet, even if it's against my prediction pick. I want the right man to win. But as a fan, I was like, I don't know. I'm honestly, I'm being 100%. I'm like, I do not think Tank is winning this fight. This guy is doing everything a little better than him, and he's more
Yeah,
consistent. And Tank was going on these long periods where he's just like, yo, what, you know what I mean? Like, yo, what are you gonna do about what he's doing to you right now? He got
yeah, and it's
confident,
like,
he's walking you down. I need to see a response for you. And I
yeah,
never got it. And he finished
yeah,
stronger too. On top of that, he finished stronger than Tank,
yeah, he did.
you
But I
know?
like, but yeah, I think like the styles make the fights because I feel like now everyone's dismissing Tank, saying everyone beats him now, and I don't really don't think that's the case. I think it's
Ah,
just the style that makes the fight. Roach came in with the perfect game plan. Most Tank's opponents, they're he's chasing they're chasing him around or they're being really overly aggressive and they get caught. Roach
mhm.
was disciplined. Even the punches that Tank was landing on him, none of them really were. They were hitting gloves, so it looked
Yeah,
like he was doing a lot, and then he would get counterpunched immediately afterwards. So,
facts. Yeah.
but
So that's how I look at it, bro. You know? I
yeah,
don't think
but
this is one of those ones where I'm like, yo, the guy overperformed and we wasn't expected. He went the distance. A lot of people thought Isaac Cruz won the fight against Tank. And I was like, I think he did way better than all of us expected, but I don't think he won the fight, whereas in this fight, I'm like, it's a nail biter. Like, god damn, what is going on right now? Like, why is Lamont Roach like a super saiyan right now? You know what I mean? Like, he's on a different power level. Like, I've never seen this guy fight anywhere close to this good before. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I'm talking about his recent fights. I'm not talking about the Jamel Herring. Jamel Herring fight is irrelevant. For all the people that keeps
yeah,
bringing it up, it's irrelevant because it was so long ago. And you got to remember, Roach is still in his 20s, and that fight was in his early 20s. He fought a veteran that was just better than Roach from last night would destroy any version of Jamel Herring. Young, old, doesn't matter. It's
yeah,
just people would evolve. You know what I mean? Like, you lose and you get better. That's how the game go. I
yeah,
think Tank should take the immediate rematch simply because now you know what to expect. Now you know that you just can't rely on your power. Now you have to go in a different bag in this rematch if you were to have one, even though he say he's not. And now you know that you got to actually technically beat him. You can't just go in there and think that your power is going to come through for you. And that's why I think he should have the rematch, because now everybody's talking about you. Stop talking about people are haters. Stop talking about how people is are turning their backs on you and they change and all that. The love is real and all that. Stop getting on social media and saying all these quotes. What you need to do is focus on reversing what we just saw last night, you know, or move on into a tougher challenge. Do one of the things. Don't go back into a tune-up, another type of fight. I hope he doesn't
yeah.
do it, but try to work on reversing what we saw last night, and that's the way I look at it.
Yeah. And then my next question for you is, do you think this performance, if he doesn't, well, if he does or does not choose to do the rematch, does it affect his money fight? Kind of like
Nah,
with the Anthony
nah,
Joshua Wilder.
nah. I think
Yeah, Joshua went
he
on to fight. Who did he fight? The Hispanic guy knocked him out. What's his name?
was it Peta?
No, I'm Anthony Joshua. His first loss
Or
got
Louis,
knocked out.
Andy Ruiz.
Yeah, Andy Ruiz. So now that
Yeah, I
Wilder
mean,
fight, it's a little steam off of it. So do you think if he
yo,
takes that rematch and loses, gets knocked out in it, is that going to affect his money fight? Because there are a lot of big money fights for him.
Anthony Joshua's gotten losses all over the place, and he still come back and he'll pull up at Wembley and get people 90,000 PA seated. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what he's gonna do in Madison Square Garden, but
American fan base is more.
yo, I went to the
They
fight in
ride
Madison
waves.
Square Garden, and that shit was packed full of people from the UK, bro. They
Yeah, but
don't
that's what
even need
I'm saying
they
for
don't
the
even need
American
New
boxers.
Yorkers and
It's
Americans to
different.
come because those
Yeah,
fans
but
out there
I'm
support.
speaking on Tank though and the American fighters. You know what I mean? So do
Nah,
you think that he's
I
afraid of
still
that
think they're
L
gonna pull
because
up. I
you still
think
think
some
they'll
people
pull
is
up?
gonna lose respect for him, but I think I was talking a little bit about the culture overall with Tank and the fans of Tank. It's a show, it's a night, it's a good time. I don't think people looking at it from a technical standpoint, they don't care who Tank is in a ring with, man. As long as he's fighting, they pulling up. 20,000 people went to Barclays last night to see the fight. I don't think they cared about it being Lamont Roach. Instead, outside of the people from the DMV that drove up here, I don't think people care about who Tank was fighting last night. You come out, you flashy like the way you flamboyant, you getting Jim Jones and them coming out. That's what people want to see. They want to see a show. They don't care about all the extra technical stuff. They don't care about that. You know what I mean? There's Tank fans that are hardcore boxing fans. I'm not saying there's not none of them out there, but what I'm saying is a lot of people are going to support and buy the tickets no matter who he's facing because he's one of those few American fighters that can do that. There's only a few of them that's going to do it.
Yeah, I feel that. But
Just my
just
opinion.
speaking on the negotiations and percentages, the purses, how would that be affected
I don't even know.
from a loss? You know what
I
I
don't
mean? So,
honestly. I don't even care. I ain't been thinking about none of that.
all right, yeah.
I ain't getting paid.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. He's trying to keep that O, so he
I'm
can,
a
you know what
fan.
I mean,
I don't
keep
care.
that
Just
purse.
just make the fight happen, man, and we can be on live talking about it like we are right now. That's all I care about.
Who do you think he was trying to call out last night?
He ain't trying to call out nobody. Tank will never say no names, man.
Nah, he said he was in the locker room. I think it was Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. I mean, come on, man.
Tank on his way out the
I would
door.
never do a video talking about that. That's stupid.
But all
But
right
yeah.
then, wait.
All right, well, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
Yo, Mike,
Yeah, I'm back. I just wanted to
real quick, because I want to get on out of here, man.
I'll be quick. I just wanted to suggest a fight for Tank next. How would you feel about Tank fighting William Cepeda?
All right, do you really want me to give you my opinion on William Cepeda? I think he is overrated.
No, exactly, but I feel like he's got the clout. It's enough clout for Tank to fight him,
This
and he
is
could get the knockout.
this is my problem with William Cepeda, and this is even before the Farmer fight. He can't fight no punchers.
That's my
because
point. But don't you think it's a good move for Tank?
it's a good win because of what Cepeda's record is looking at right now, but it's a stylistic nightmare for William Cepeda.
Oh, so you don't think that William would take the fight?
No,
Because
he might, but what I'm saying is William Cepeda has already ducked Shakur,
mm,
which is, a feather-fisted puncher, but everybody talks about his lack of puncher power, but no one really wants to fight him. William Cepeda fighting Tank is a nightmare, and he might get stopped within 3 or 4 rounds against Tank because his strength is volume. If a guy can just have the power to hit you so hard that, you're not good defensively. So if I can shut down your volume with my accuracy and my power, it's a nightmare for Tank. But it's a good fight to rebound off because it's going to give you all the confidence in the world, and it's going to give viewers to say like, "Yo, he's back."
because
So
exactly because if you sorry to interrupt you there, mate. It's just that if you look at like all the lightweight boxers, you're asking Tank to fight, in his next fight, your Devin, Shakur, Loma, even Keyshawn, they're all better than Roach as pure boxers, right? So
yeah,
go on.
yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, so I just feel like why would Tank now go and fight another fighter who's basically going to do what Roach done, but even better, just win on points? He needs to fight someone that's good, but he can also knock out at the same time.
Yeah, but that's what he's been doing all his careers, and people that love Tank, like people that love Tank to a point where they're just gonna support him no matter what, is gonna love a fight like that. But people like myself that, like, I think in order of difficulty, I would say right now at 135, I would say Shakur, Keyshawn, and then Loma maybe the level of difficulty for fights for him. So in that order.
You think Keyshawn's more difficult than Shakur?
No, I said Shakur.
Oh, right.
Keyshawn, Loma.
Do you think Tank has any chance of beating any of those guys?
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
Of them? By knockout or like by decision?
Who did I just say? Loma.
Shakur.
Either way. Listen, let me make something clear. Like I said earlier, I don't know about Keyshawn because he looks phenomenal, but I don't know how good of a chin is against a real hard puncher, right? Like, so I think that's the only thing I question about him. And I know he's not as defensive as Shakur. But let me just say that Shakur can win on points straight through. But what happens if he gets caught by Tank? I don't know. Same thing with Keyshawn. Keyshawn is more aggressive, is more dangerous for Tank, and more likely to hurt Tank even more so than Roach, in my opinion. But he's there to get hit as well. You know what I mean? Loma, in my opinion, I don't think Loma beats Tank right now. I just don't.
Me neither.
I think that ship has sailed, and I think that's I think at one point Loma could have beaten him, but not now.
Yeah, I mean, the last point I was going to make is: do you think like we've seen as Loma's moved up the weights, we've seen size has been an issue, like against Devin, it's like there's a limit to what these smaller guys can move up to. Do you think Tank's sort of getting that issue here at 135? Like maybe he's a bit too big, he's a bit too small for the weight class.
No, not really. I just think his style is solely based on the knockout and not winning rounds. And I think his punch output is just too low. He's a skillful version of Wilder.
Oh, but don't you think that's a bit because what?
No, he's a very skillful, high IQ version.
Skillful. Yeah, right. You said skillful.
He's a skillful, high IQ version of Deontay Wilder. Wilder would give rounds away just because he's gonna look when he set up the punch against Luis Ortiz in a rematch or that Polish dude in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It was just like, yo, he's like getting outboxed here, but the way he set up that right hand and almost like killed this guy. I was just like, yo, he's so confident that his right hand is gonna land that he doesn't even care if he's losing the rounds. And I feel like Tank, as high as the IQ he has, he doesn't win. He doesn't fight to win rounds. He just doesn't. He's not thinking about the only time he's thinking about him possibly losing on points is when people like Devin or a Shakur come up in interviews and he's talking about, yo, if it goes to points, oh, this guy, they're gonna give it to him. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he didn't say it like that, but he's saying it like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
think
what you mean. So in the rematch, would you say who would you favor in the rematch between Roach and do you expect Tank to make the adjustments?
I think Tank will do better in the rematch. Yeah. If they were to announce a rematch tomorrow, I think Tank would win the rematch more definitively than Roach. I mean, we could also change it and say Lamont might even do better in the rematch because he's already felt his power and he's already been in there with him. But I would lead towards Tank winning the fight because he would have to be better, and I think he would prepare to be better, and I think he would situate whatever shit's going on in his corner over there, whatever's going on over there with Hunter and Calvin Ford, whatever they got going on, they would fix that for the rematch.
Oh, I agree, mate. Have a good night, mate. Thanks for
All right.
listening to my questions.
Thank you. No, thank you for coming through. I'll definitely do this a lot more. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
No worries. Take care.
G, thank you for the donation. He says that G says he still has a Kato, an elite guy, has he? I mean, to many people, Ryan is elite, you know. Ryan is elite. I don't think Martin really proven himself to be at elite, but I think he was at least a top 135 pounder at the time. I mean, he's beaten some champions. They're all title holders. You know, so when we define elite, like, you know, Ryan, Hector Garcia is a type guy at 130 at one point, or at least at that time. I get what you're saying. I think there's like I said in the breakdown, I think there's title holders and I think elite fighters. And I think elite, we're talking about like guys that are just super good no matter what name you bring them up. And I think that's like above just being a title holder. You know what I mean? And I think Ryan could be in that conversation. But even that is debatable. I think that yeah, I think everybody else is just good fighters, top fighters at the divisions. But I wouldn't necessarily call them elite fighters. Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. Yeah, even Pedraza, I wouldn't call him to be elite. Even at that time, I think Pedraza was a top fighter at 130 at the time, but I don't think he was considered to be elite. You know, I think elite is maybe not pound for pound top 10, but like guys that are not too far off from it. You know what I mean? Like they top tier fighters, you know, and I don't think every champion should be called elite, just my opinion. Every title holder, like Alberto Puello is a title holder, but I don't think he's like, I don't even know if he's the best at 140. You know what I mean? I think guys got to do a little bit more for us to start calling them elite, you know? That's all. You know, at 140 right now, I don't really know who's elite because I need to see what they can really do. I don't know. Just my opinion. I don't know about the Times Square fight. You know, I've thought about that. I've given it some thought a couple of times. That card, uh, well, I'm curious to see just how it's gonna play out being in Times Square. So in that sense, I'm excited because it's gonna be in New York and it's gonna be somewhere different than Madison Square Garden, uh, the theater at the Garden and Barclays. But I just want to see how it plays out. You know, most of those fighters, like for the most part, are from Cali and stuff. But I think the event itself might be big enough to where people don't care about where the fighters are from because they are American fighters. Tio, Ryan, Devin Haney. So I don't know. I just want to see how it's gonna play out. I'm gonna tell you right now, Kaj. Um, I actually think this fight is 50-50 right now. You know, a couple of years ago, I would have never said that. But Barboza is a dangerous fight for Tio right now because Barboza is improving with every fight. And a fighter like that is dangerous because he hasn't really shown us that he's peaked yet. You know, and he's been around for a little bit now, but he hasn't showed us that he's peaked. And those fights are dangerous because I really don't know if Tio has upgraded since he's gone to 140. I know his power is not as big as it was, you know, and I honestly think that the Josh Taylor win at the time was good, but you know, Josh Taylor fell off so hard since that fight. It's just hard to really tell. And Tio hasn't looked that impressive since. So I really don't know. I can't call it. But guys, I'm gonna get on out of here, man. Listen, it was a great. I definitely need to start going on here more and speaking to you guys. After the you know, I make the content and make my points. I had a good time. I enjoy you guys joining the live and trading ideas and stuff like that. I think it was really dope. I gotta definitely do it more. But I'm gonna get some rest. I'm super tired. Please, if you can, hit the thumbs up on the way out. All right. And I will see you guys tomorrow. There are some topics I need to cover for sure, but I will be here tomorrow. All right. I'll be free tomorrow for you guys. All right. So y'all have a good night. Have a great week. And I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.